Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I'm doing well. I'm Gerald. Most people know me as Ginger Gerald Stitcher, and that's how you found me if you're new to this channel. And this is a crafting channel if you are new to this channel, so welcome. Blah blah blah. Here we go, let's start over again. I'm Gerald. Hope you're all doing well. This is a crafting channel, and I primarily do knitting and cross stitch. However, I occasionally throw in some other things. Today it's all cross stitch and knitting, but you never know when we might have something different. I hope you are all doing well. I have had a super busy week, as you can tell by the fact that I'm getting all tongue-tied. But I'm not gonna start over again, because that's what I do. I actually just got home not that long ago, maybe 20 minutes ago, from a long weekend trip to New York City, and it has been an exciting weekend. I'm gonna throw in some pictures here. Of some excellent things that I got to do over the weekend. As you saw in the pictures, I got a chance to go over to the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. It's my very first time it was my second time to the Statue of Liberty, my very first time ever stepping onto Ellis Island. It was very interesting, lots of, I always enjoy doing all those kind of sightseeing and educational activities. I also got to take part in going to a musical, and I saw Dear Evan Hansen, and there has been rave reviews about it, and I'm going to be another one of those people that talk highly about that musical. It has a lot of very heavy content about anxiety and young adults or young teenagers growing up with severe anxiety. But it was very well done, and a lot of great music in the show, and the performers were excellent. So if you ever have a chance to go to New York City and see a show on Broadway, I highly recommend it. I'm sure anybody else that has ever seen a Broadway show would do the same. So, you know, it was lots of great fun. I also got to do some other things, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. So I do have some notes. But first, I also had some other busy things that have been going on. So last week, as soon as I was done filming, I got busy, and I've been on this organizing kick. I'm not a Marie Kondo by any means. Some of her things I'm just like, that's a little crazy. But sometimes I just go through these kicks where I just need to organize. I need to organize, and I'm one of those people that everything has its place and it goes in its place all the time. But when you start accumulating stuff and then you don't have a place for everything to go, and I live in a small apartment, so I don't have a lot of storage. So my cross stitch and knitting corner has started to overflow. And so I needed to organize, and I've needed to do this for quite a while. I've had a pile of books that has just been sitting in the corner, and I couldn't handle it anymore. And so as soon as I started doing all of this, I had some extra space here in the living room, and I moved my cross stitch cabinet that has all of my fabric and accoutrement into the living room so I could have something to hold my lamp, because I didn't have a table in here to put my lamp anymore, because what was there before? I had my bookshelf there for my fiction books, but my other lamp used to be on this table, but it didn't really work because I had Henry. So it didn't work. So I needed something else to put my lamp on. So I moved that table or that cabinet into here and put my lamp on. But then I didn't have anything in my bedroom for my stitching cabinet or for my stitching corner to organize all that. And I really needed something else to go in there to help organize all of my books and some of my other things. So last Friday, not this past Friday, but a week ago Friday, before I filmed, I took a trip to IKEA and I found a really nice bookshelf for $20. Now that's 20 US dollars. And so after I filmed last Saturday, I went ahead and put that bookshelf together, and I organized all of my books and some of my flosses, extra flosses and everything. And I'm going to put a picture of that in here. And so I'm very happy with how that looks now. And as you can see, I'm so much happier with how that looks. Now, some of those gray boxes that are on the bookshelf, I've had before. I just didn't have anywhere to put them. And the larger boxes that are beside the bookshelf now hold some of my yarn for my knitting. And so I have a nice, neat, organized corner for my cross stitch and knitting storage area, because I don't have closet space. I have one closet for my clothes, and I have one closet that is like my linen closet that has turned into a crafting closet, and then I have an entryway like coat closet that is coats and shoes and cleaning supplies, and that's all I have. So I really had to make do with the corners and the spaces that I have as far as furniture. And this cabinet here has a lot of crafting supplies as well as other things in it. That's why I ended up buying these cabinets, so that I could have space for crafting and business related stuff as far as designing. So just wanted to throw that out there. So, you know, if you're ever in the, you can find that bookshelf at IKEA. I don't know if your IKEA might have it, or I'm sure you could probably order it online because IKEA does ship. It was $20. And I might be going back to get another one for another reason. So, okay. I have my little handy dandy notes because I have so much to talk about today. So let's get on to the next thing. So I did all of my weekly updates. Last week I had a giveaway. It was the Bringing Home the Tree. We had many, many, many people giving me their options as far as did they celebrate with an artificial or a fake tree, or a live tree or a real tree. I want to say I didn't keep accurate data as far as if it was a real, if one beat out one or the other. It seemed to be about 50-50. If anything, maybe artificial or fake trees beat out real trees by a smidge. But the winner of this week's Bringing Home the Tree is Ann Mitchum, and that was selected by a random comment generator right before I came on to film. So Ann, if you can go ahead and email me, please make sure you email me. The email will be linked below. Email me your address and you will get your copy of Bringing Home the Tree. So congratulations, Ann, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's get into the knitting. Now, I've had a lot of progress as far as both cross stitch and knitting this week. But first, as far as, and a lot of that is because I went to New York City, so I had a lot of time to knit on the travel. But the first thing I did as soon as why is that? Okay, there we go. As soon as last weekend, after I filmed, was that I went ahead and I worked on the sweater because I'm trying to get the sweater done. I was really hoping to get it done before Thanksgiving. I don't think it's going to happen. But so I am knitting the Jarrett in the vintage Rowan, the vintage knits by Rowan. This is Rowan, doesn't even say Rowan on the front. It is a Rowan book, Rowan Designs Vintage Knits. It is the Jarrett design. And I am doing it with a Holst garn in the super soft marlin using 2 strands held together. So Holst garn in the marlin color, 2 strands held together. All I did on this was I went ahead and I knitted the button band. So now there's a button band on the front piece, and I have the place where I want to put all of my buttons. And I think I had one of them done before. It might have been the button band that was done before. I also knitted up the buttonhole band. So the buttonhole band is also done. You can see there's a hole there. And I seamed them onto the pieces. So next thing I have to do is go ahead and seam this onto the back. I have to knit, I still have to knit the sleeves, and I also have to knit the neck or the collar. But one thing I did while I was in New York City, the hotel I was staying at was right by Macy's in Midtown. And as if any of you know anything about New York, Macy's is in the garment district. And so while I was in that area, since I was staying in that area, I thought it would be neat to go ahead and go into one of the shops there and see if I could find some buttons to go ahead and purchase the buttons so I have unique buttons for my sweater, because while Joann's or the box stores in my area have nice buttons, they don't have a huge selection. So I wanted to find something that would be unique to my sweater. So, and I couldn't make up my mind because they had so many. I mean, they had a huge wall of buttons. And so my friend and I were standing there probably for about 20 minutes trying to decide. I ended up walking away with 2 different styles. And I figured I'll buy 2 and then I will make up the decision later. So I bought 2 different kinds. I figured I would buy this one here. We're getting a little bit of glare. Here we go. We'll just put it right here on the blue so it'll look nice. So, and I'm dropping it everywhere because, you know, this isn't easy whenever you have fumbly hands. There we go. A nice, shiny, there we go. Kind of shiny, but kind of matte at the same time, brushed, round button. And then I also wanted to get something that was really, really different. So I went ahead and got a bar. So, which I think is really cool and different. So when you put it up on the sweater, let's see if I can put one through here. There we go. It would look like this. There we go. So there's that one. And that one. There we go. Let me know in the comments which one you think would look best. I like them both, so that's why I couldn't decide. So I figured I will finish up the sweater, and right before I need to go ahead and put them on the sweater, I will make up my final decision. Just putting them away because I don't want to lose them. Okay, so the only other knitting I did was on my socks. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this. You would have seen me knitting on the train because from where I live up to New York City is about an hour and a half. I have to drive to the train, which is about a half hour, 40-minute drive. And then it's about an hour, hour 20, hour and 30 minute, depending upon what train you get on to go to New York City and then come back. It just depends based on if you get an express train or not. Sometimes they're a little bit faster than an hour and 20, but the majority of the time they're about an hour and 20 minutes. So on the way back today, I went ahead and worked on my sock. This is in the Lion brand that I bought up in Canada. So I put in about another 20 rows since last week. Since last week, I went ahead and put in, so I finished the legs. So here is the length of the leg, right? Yes, from here up is the length of the leg. And from here down is the length of the foot so far. So there is my sock. Remember again, this is a set of socks that is going to be for me. And so I'm really happy with how this is looking. And I'm gonna keep plugging away at this. This is no time frame for when I need to get this one done. And then also, since last week, I went ahead and cast on a pair of socks. I think it was since last week. I don't think I talked about this in last week's video. A friend of mine at work, her birthday was back in October, and for her birthday, I had given her an IOU in her card, and I said, I owe you a pair of socks. So I went ahead and cast on her socks for her because I finally got her measurements, because in order for me to be able to knit her socks, I had to find out her measurements. So that's why I gave her an IOU. So I cast on this Patton's Croy sock yarn that I bought at Joann Fabrics with a coupon. This is, it's a 75% washable wool and a 25% nylon, and this color is brown rose marl. And I pretty much have this sock done, because that's how much knitting I got. I knit on this one on the way up to New York last week, or on Friday, and so there's the sock so far. All I have left to do is Kitchener the toe. That's all I have left on that one. And then I have to add in the afterthought heel, which goes right here, because this is going to be a shorty pair of socks. So it'll look something like that. So yeah, very, very pleased with that. Love the way those stripes are looking on that sock. So there we go. That's all the knitting I have for you. And so, thank you all for watching me, following along with my knitting. I know some of you are just here for my cross stitch. I know for the most part, I do talk about my knitting first, because usually knitting is the minority of progress that I have. This week tends to be the majority of progress I have, just because I was away for 3 days this week. And so I didn't take any cross stitch with me to New York City. I do have progress though. So let's get into my cross stitch progress. So the only thing I worked on this week was my Autumn Forest Quaker. And like I said last week, I'm really shooting for a finish. So this might be a monogamous stitch until I have a finish. So what have I gotten done this week? Here is where I have gotten to so far. So since last week, I have done this, I believe I've done this tree, and these 3 Quakers, and this mouse. Which, when you look at it, is a good bit of work. So and there you go. And that is my cross stitch progress for the week. I am just about ready to, this page, the top half is pretty much finished. There's a motif in here, and there's one or two, there's a motif in here. There's a couple more motifs here that I'm going to finish. It actually is going down into the lower half, but I'm going to go ahead and stitch them anyways before I go ahead and move the Q-snap. And then I'm going to move the Q-snap, and I'm going to go gangbusters to finish this project. I should have a lot of stitching time this week, knock on wood. However, I say that, and now I probably won't have any time to stitch. But we're going to go with the flow and see what I get done. So, my plans for the week. Like I said, I'm mainly going to focus on getting my Autumn Forest Quaker done. I would really like to get a finish on this, and then we'll see what happens. So, but I go with the flow. If I feel like I need to take a break from that and stitch on something else, I will take a break on that and stitch on something else. But I will do what I need to do in order to maintain my stitching mojo and be happy with what I have on the go. Now, moving right along, I have some updates for you all. My mind has been really churning on a lot of things, and a lot of you have been asking some updates on some other things, and I really want to just provide you with some information. So first off, last week I showed you my white Christmas cactus, and there is, now we have finally some full Christmas cactus in bloom. Really enjoying this. I love how this is looking, and this is going to and we have plenty more blooms to come. I've gotten, since last week, I've gotten many questions on how to take care of Christmas cacti, because some of you struggle with that. And I have many that are doing really well. So, I have actually been thinking for a long time about I've been brainstorming some different ideas, and there will be more on that to come in the near future. So if you're interested in gardening, I have big news coming up. I just want you to stay with me for a little bit longer. Hopefully by next week's episode, I will have some information for you all if you're interested, so please stay tuned. Now, the other thing that I've been getting a lot of questions on, and I want to put your mind at ease, is the fact that, Gerald, why haven't you been designing? First off, I have not been designing because I've been so busy in the last year with some work-related professional goings on. I was in school, I was taking classes, and so I had to get that all done. And with that, my creativity and my time for creativity just had to take a back seat. So while I had time to do the stitching and the knitting that I wanted to do personally, I did not really have the time to put my own designs and creativity out there and invest the amount of time that it takes to do that. However, that is no longer the case, and I have been able to put more time to that. So in the future, I don't know when, I'm not going to put a date out there, but in the future there will be new designs coming from Ginger Gerald Designs. And there will be big news when that does happen. So please stay tuned if you're interested in those designs, or in my design style and the types of patterns that I put out. I have a lot of new things coming out, so just bear with me. It will be a little bit longer because it does take a while to, once you get started, it does take a while to go through the whole design process of creating a pattern and then stitching it and putting it down to graph, and then stitching it and getting it all ready for distribution. So just bear with me, but I'm excited for what is to come. And I'm really hoping that you all will enjoy as much as I do what I have in store for my design business. So if you're interested in that, please stay with me, stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram at Ginger Gerald Designs. That is where you can follow me for cross-stitch designing. You can follow me on Instagram for my own personal Ginger Gerald at Ginger Gerald Stitcher. All of that will be linked below, and I hope to see you all there. Finally, last week's giveaway was such a success, and so many of you were interested in the design. I have another giveaway. It is not from the same designer this week. However, there will be more design giveaways from that designer in the near future. But going on the holiday theme, I have a giveaway for you all for this week. It is from Black Sheep Redo, I believe is how you pronounce that. This is a small book. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, has 8 different designs with different holidays I think it's just a whole bunch of different holidays in it. This is book 1. It has, oh, it says right there, it has 8 designs. But if you're interested in stitching some Christmas ones, there is a, words escape me. A snowman, it's called Twilight Frosty. There's the other designs on the front. There's a rabbit as well as a Valentine type heart. A sheep in the shape of a Valentine heart. What is this one? This is, a summer house. There is an autumn leaf. A summer cornflower. A Halloween trick-or-treat pattern. And finally, a Christmas cracker. So another, like a nutcracker. So if you're interested in designing, or words again, if you're interested in this booklet of holiday themed patterns, it is a really nicely designed book. I just don't usually stitch holiday patterns. So if you're interested in this, tell me your favorite holiday. What is your favorite holiday of the year? It does not have to be Christmas. It could be any holiday since this has holidays throughout the year. Tell me in the comments below what is your favorite holiday, and you will be entered in the chance to receive this as your gift. And therefore, let me know in your comments below. Follow me next week to see who is the winner of this design book, and I will see you next week on, hopefully next week, fingers crossed. Next time I film, I will announce the winners with a random comment picker. As long as you say something about your favorite holiday, you will have a chance to win this design. As always, continue to always follow me on Instagram, or here on this channel. If you do follow me, remember to click the little bell so that you get notifications that I post. And if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to message me on Instagram, or the easiest way to get a quicker response would be to email me at my email, ginger.gerald.stitcher@gmail.com. It's linked below. I read those, I check my email daily. Sometimes on Instagram, I don't always see the if you are a new person to message me, you get that request thing. I don't always see that right away. I always forget to check to see if I have new messages there. So I might not see your message right away. So it would be quicker and easier if you email me first, if you have an urgent question or something that you have a question about right away. I do check all of the comments on these videos. Thank you all for leaving comments and questions. I do try to answer all the questions to the best of my ability. However, sometimes I just don't have the time to answer all the questions, but I do try to refer back to the questions as best as I can in the videos. So thank you all very much for following and liking everything that I do. And until we talk to each other again, don't forget to always be creative.